They built 27 homes on my ranch while I was gone. Yeah, you heard me right, 27. And before you ask, no, I didn't sell, didn't lease, didn't even so much as rent out a chicken coop. You ever come back to a place thinking it'll feel like home, only to find out it's been snatched right out from under you? Try coming back after 8 silent years, ready to breathe in that old Montana lake air and run smack into a steel HOA gate where your cattle used to graze. That's the punchline that greets Meek Sept. Of course, the joke's on me. You know what really makes a homecoming special? It's that moment when the crunch of gravel under your tires sounds exactly like it did back when your mom rode shotgun, pointing out broken fence posts and deer trails that needed patching up. Back then, every turn in the road led you closer to something that made sense. Now, memory's a liar. It'll tell you nothing's changed right up until you slam the brakes and spill coffee across the dash because your grandfather's old weather-beaten gate has been replaced with an archway announcing Clearwater Shores, residents only. The land felt wrong. That's the only way to say it. Wrong in the bones, wrong in the chest, wrong enough to turn your mouth dry. The guard at the booth gave me a smile like he'd been trained to sell used cars polite, blank, almost daring me to cause a scene. Name and resident address, sir, he asks. I'm thinking, buddy, you're standing on my mother's footprints and you want a passcode? I tell him straight I am Cole Mathers, and this is my family's land. Sorry, he says, Clearwater Shores is a private community. My name's not even on his clipboard. 4 years ago, the records show, the development was approved and completed. 4 years ago, I was burying my mother, running from everything this ranch reminded me of. But this wasn't grief, this was theft. I drive off, the shock starting to freeze into something sharp and cold. Where cattle once grazed, there are kids in plastic play sets and shiny pontoon boats in driveways. The lake glitters just the same, but it's like the sun's mocking me, glinting off rooftops built on stolen memories. 27 houses all sitting on ground that was supposed to be my legacy. And I'm just some trespasser now. I step out into that Montana morning, and for the first time in years, I'm not numb. I'm furious. That fury carries me straight into Burnett County's clerk office, where the air smells like lemon cleaner and baked dust. Marlene Wexler, who remembers both my birthday and every inch of my mother's property lines, doesn't even have to fake the surprise when she sees me. We dig through the records. My original deed is right where it should be 240 acres, signed and notarized back in '83. But Marlene finds something else, something that freezes her hand over the mouse. A quitclaim deed, supposedly signed by my dead mother in 2019, giving away 80 acres to a developer. Her signature 3 years after we put her in the ground. Notarized by a man who died 2 years before that. That's not a clerical error. That's a knife in the back. The name on the paperwork Clearwater Holdings, LLC. And behind that, an HOA called Clearwater Shores. The president? Fletcher Dorsey. If there's a villain in a small town, he's the kind who wears expensive loafers and a plastic smile. Marlene prints everything chain of custody, logs, timestamps, all of it. You're going to need a lawyer, Cole. I'm going to need a lot more than that. Before I do anything, I drive down to Eli Drummond's Placia neighbor, whose handshake is worth more than half the county signatures. If anybody knows what really happened on the ground, it's Eli. He's got the original survey maps, the ones my mother kept in her desk, showing every line and every acre, just as I remember. Then he shows me the new map, the one the county accepted, with a conveniently redrawn boundary that cuts off those 80 acres for development. You try to fight it, Eli tells me. The county stopped listening as soon as Dorsey and his lawyers rolled in. They built their lies on your foundation, Cole. Lies always crack first. The next morning, I wait for Fletcher Dorsey at the gate. He doesn't come alone, and he's got 2 board members with him, both looking like they're auditioning for roles as background villains. Fletcher tries to talk down, tries to threaten me with liability and good faith buyers. I let him talk. Then I hand him the forged deed. My mother didn't sign anything in 2019. She died 3 years before that. And you forgot to forge an easement. For just a moment, his mask slips. The road, the only access to their shiny new homes, runs straight through my land, and now it's locked behind my gate. That's leverage. Real, old-fashioned, concrete-in-the-ground leverage. With Lorelia Brighton by my side, documents in hand, we lay out every detail. You're holding the winning hand, she tells me. That road's yours. They can't touch it, not legally, not now. The HOA is boxed in, their residents trapped behind my steel gate. For a while, it's chaos, cars backing up, people shouting, some trying to muscle their SUVs around the barrier and ending up stuck in the mud. The sheriff gets called. Tom Riek, steady as stone, takes one look at the documents and tells the crowd, "This road crosses private property. Mr. Mathers has the legal right to control access." That hush you hear? That's the sound of a lie breaking in front of a crowd. Fletcher shows up, tries to bluff, but I've got the proof. I've got Eli's recording about the bogus survey. I've got Marlene's logs about the midnight edits in the county's digital files. I got Gwen Larkin, the treasurer, handing me folders with HOA funds siphoned off, secret accounts, emails about running out the clock until the land becomes ours permanently. Turns out, even the people living behind that gate were scammed. They trusted the wrong man, just like I trusted time to keep my legacy safe. The lesson hits hard, right in the gut. You think what's written in stone, family, land, truth can't be washed away by paper. But people, power, greed, they find a way. And if you ever start thinking nobody can take what's yours, you're already halfway to losing it. Turns out, the law bends for the loudest liar unless you show up, stand your ground, and throw the truth in their face. With every shred of evidence, deeds, maps, emails, testimony, I call the FBI. Wire fraud, computer tampering, forged documents. Within days, federal agents sweep into Clearwater Shores. They seize computers, files, and Fletcher himself. The cuffs go on, the facade falls away. And for the first time, those 27 families see him for who he isn't, a president. Not a neighbor, but a thief who bet their futures on a lie. The judge restores the stolen acres to the Mathers estate. The HOA dissolves residents, form a real neighborhood association, with transparency, with rules that make sense. I give them a permanent easement, $1 a year, as long as they protect the lake, don't expand, and never again let a crook hold the keys. You should have seen the relief on their faces, the shame, the tears, the quiet thanks. They just wanted a place to call home, same as I did. We all lost something here, but maybe for once the land got the last word. I'm on a new sign where my grandfather's gate once stood. Mathers ranched the land that never yielded. The wind moves through the pines, the water shimmers gold at sunset, and I sit on the porch with Pastor Bennett, 2 mugs of coffee, and a simple piece of knowing I did right by my family, even if it took paper, patience, and a little righteous anger to do it. If there's one thing I'd tell you, it's this: justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just the sound of a gate swinging closed, or a community breathing easy, or the quiet pride that comes from not letting anyone steal what your people built. The law can fail, but truth finds a way home. Now let me ask you, where's the line between justice and revenge? Should every homeowner have lost their place for what Fletcher did? If you had to pick between standing your ground and making peace, what would you choose? Drop your answer below. Share your story if you've ever had to fight for what's yours. And if you believe justice was finally served, type a simple yes in the comments. And if you're not the type to back down, stick around. There's plenty more stories where this one came from.
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.